All right, let's talk about the world's largest island, a massive, beautiful kingdom of ice sitting at the top of the world. But here's the thing, this whole story kicks off with a puzzle, a name that honestly sounds like a total lie.
So let's just get right into it. Why on earth is it called Greenland when a whopping 80% of it is just, well, a giant sheet of ice? I mean, seriously, it sounds like some kind of ancient marketing scam, right? But believe it or not, the real answer tells us everything about survival, history, and the incredible spirit of this place.
Okay, to really get a handle on just how big and empty this place is, get this. We're talking about an island over 2 million square kilometers. That's huge. But the population? Only 57,000 people. That's like putting the entire population of a small town into a country the size of Saudi Arabia. It is one of the least densely populated places on the entire planet. Just immense, beautiful, and almost completely empty.
So where do all these people live? Well, most of them are clustered in just a few spots, especially the capital. So let's dive into Nuuk, a city that is just full of fascinating contradictions.
Okay, first up, picture a modern capital city. You know, with apartment buildings, cool cafes, all the usual city stuff. Now imagine you can't drive out of it. I'm not kidding. There are literally 0 roads connecting Nuuk to any other town. The only way you're getting in or out is by plane or boat. That's it.
And get this, in the entire capital city, they have a grand total of 3 traffic lights. Just 3. That's all they need to manage the traffic for the capital of the world's biggest island. Wild, right?
Feel like doing a bit of shopping? Well, on this entire massive island, there's exactly 1 shopping mall. Just one, and yep, you guessed it, it's right here in Nuuk.
You know, even the city itself has this really cool way of communicating. You see all those colorful houses? They're not just for looks. They're actually color-coded. Yellow buildings? That's the hospital system. Red buildings are for schools. It's this awesome visual language that was basically born out of necessity in a pretty tough environment.
But you know, a place is so much more than its buildings or roads. It's about the people. And to really get Greenland, you have to understand the Inuit and their long, long journey, a story caught between colonial history and a powerful dream of independence.
So the indigenous people here are the Inuit. Their ancestors actually traveled all the way from Alaska and Siberia thousands of years ago. The name Inuit itself just means the people. And this is really important. The term Eskimo is seen as an insult, so Inuit is the proper and respectful term to use.
Their political story has been this slow, steady climb towards running their own show. For a long time, until 1953, Greenland was a Danish colony. Then, in 1979, they got home rule, which meant their own legislature. And then, a huge step in 2009, self-government, giving them way more control over their own affairs. But the story is definitely not over yet.
And this leads to a really interesting kind of complex situation. See, Greenland is an autonomous country, but it's within the Kingdom of Denmark. So Denmark is part of the European Union, but Greenland isn't. They're in this unique political gray area, sort of caught between worlds.
And you know, a local Greenlandic creator named Q said something that really hits home. He said, "I strongly believe we become independent when more people are aware of who we actually are and start to become much, much more proud of who we are as Greenlanders." It just shows you, for so many people, the path to true independence, it isn't just about politics or money, it's about identity. It's a journey of rediscovering their culture and feeling that pride.
So that begs the question, how does a nation not only survive, but build a culture in one of the most extreme environments on Earth? Well, the answer isn't just in their politics or their history. It's actually in something way more basic. If you really want to understand the spirit of this nation, you have to look at what's on their plate.
All right, let's talk about food. The traditional diet here is a perfect mirror of the land itself and the incredible toughness of its people. This is literally food from the ice.
Yeah, you're probably not going to find this stuff at your local grocery store. We're talking about staples that come directly from the land and the sea. Things like whale skin, which they call muktuk. We've got seal blubber, reindeer meat, dried fish, even polar bear and muskox. This is pure survival cuisine, something that's been perfected over thousands of years.
But here's where we hit another one of those Greenlandic contradictions. You walk into a supermarket today, and something like 90% of the food on the shelves is imported, shipped all the way from Denmark. The only things that are truly local are the seafood and the meat. Think about that, a deep, deep reliance on the outside world for most of your daily food.
So what does eating like a local actually look like? Well, here's a classic combo for you. First, you take a piece of dried fish. Then, you grab some fermented seal blubber. They use it just like butter, and you spread that on. To finish it off, you add a piece of raw whale skin, which people say tastes kind of like sushi. Pretty amazing, huh?
Okay, so from survival and food to identity and politics, all these different threads, they all weave together into one massive question for Greenland. What comes next? What does the future hold for this incredible nation of ice?
Economically, Greenland really stands on two legs. First, there's a huge fishing industry. The catch, most of the profits end up going through Denmark. The second pillar is tourism, which is definitely growing. But this whole economic setup is the single biggest roadblock on that path to the full independence that so many Greenlanders are striving for.
And that brings us right back to the biggest question of all. You have this nation with incredible natural resources, a culture that is so resilient and so proud. But at the same time, it's still so deeply tied to Denmark, especially economically. So the real question is, can Greenland use everything it has to finally truly chart its own course? That is the epic story that's unfolding right now at the top of the world.